Hello and welcome to the third annual No Rest for the Weekend Awards. I'm Jason Godbey.
And I'm not Neil Patrick Harris. Today we'll be celebrating the best and brightest in 2024 cinema.
You're supposed to say, and I'm Eric McClanahan.
But I'm not Neil Patrick Harris. And I'm Eric McClanahan.
All right, so we're in the studio here in Brooklyn. Standing by out west, live via satellite, is our man in Hollywood, Mr. Bill Hammon. He'll be giving us his thoughts on the year in film later. But first, Eric, 2024, the year in film, your thoughts, sir?
I could confidently say that it was better than 2023. And I can hopefully say not as good as 2025.
2024, it's almost like, it feels like a backhanded compliment, but it's like, yeah, surprisingly good.
Surprisingly, yes.
Surprisingly good. And we're doing things a little bit differently than we did before. This is sort of the pared down version of the award show. Last year we had a bunch of presenters. Now it's just kind of you and me on a couch talking about movies, which is our natural state of being. It's like in our natural habitat sort of thing. So we're going to leave the glitz and glamour for the big award shows. We don't have a bunch of production companies courting us and sending us materials and things like that. But we do have integrity.
That we do. We do have integrity. That's why this year we decided to go with the couch. We said podiums. More like who needsiums. We didn't want to schmodiums. We didn't want to do all the rigmarole and, the highfalutin dog and pony show. Though we are kind of going to treat this year's awards a little bit like a dog show.
Yes, no ponies for us, but we do have 8 categories nominating films within various genres, and our small cabal of critics, fans, and friends poured over the choices, cast their votes in the winners for each.
Yes, and then our even smaller cabal of critical fan friends determined the best film of 2024.
All right, does that make sense to everybody? Everybody got that? All right, so let's get started. What is our first category?
Well, we're going to start with the one that usually gets the most attention, Best Drama. Our nominees are Anora, The Brutalist, Conclave, Civil War, The Seed of the Sacred Fig, and Hard Truths. The award goes to Anora.
A great film. I saw it at New York Film Festival. It really impressed me. It was surprisingly good. It's kind of like a category. I did not know what to expect. It was kind of one of those things. I was supposed to be at another festival, and I ended up skipping the last night of that festival to go to the screening at New York Film Festival. And it was the fun part of it was packed. It was like a press and industry screening. You've been to a bunch of those. When's the last time it was like I had to sit up front? Like I couldn't even get a seat. And people were laughing and really enjoying themselves. We were talking the other night about like what made a film like the best picture or whatever. And you said ones you would recommend.
Absolutely.
And
that's exactly what I was going to say. Yes, when I think of best picture, or the best picture in a category, I think of the one that you have to run out and tell people, dude, you got to see this movie. And you said that to me. You're like, you got to see this movie.
Yeah, I think I said that to everybody. And I also, I feel that way. The 2 factors: would you recommend it to a friend, and do you want to watch it again? Because some of these movies are great, but do not have a high rewatchability factor. I thought Hard Truths was amazing. But it was like, I don't want to see that again. Like it was great, but it was a tough watch. So up next, we got Best Documentary. The 6 nominees for Best Documentary are Porcelain War, The Remarkable Life of Ibeline, Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, Union, Will and Harper, Zorowski v. Texas. And the award goes to Will and Harper, a delightful film. I did not see it. I saw it on Netflix. Lovely film, though. Lovely film.
All right, let's move on to the Best Action or Adventure Film. Not action-adventure film. It has to be either action or adventure.
I'm not really sure what the difference is between those 2 things, but let's go for it.
If you don't know, it's too late. We have a lot of fun with these. The committee narrowed it down to these nominees. The Beekeeper, Boy Kills World, Deadpool and Wolverine, The Fall Guy, Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, and Monkey Man. And the winner is Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, good pick. I mean, they're all good. By the way, all of these movies are good. All of these movies are going to be on a recommend list. These are movies that we like. That's why we nominated them in the first place. And just so you know, these awards don't mean anything. Like, nobody's going to win them. Nobody's going to come. Like, Ryan Reynolds is not knocking on my door asking for the award, so don't worry about it.
Hugh Jackman, my email is firstname@gmail.com.
This is another thing that was fun about this year that I want to do, because we go to so many festivals and we cover so many festivals. It's kind of our bread and butter. So we created a special category for Best in Fest. And for these are like movies we wanted to honor that we just saw in festivals that did not get a wide release
Yet.
In 2024. They will probably get some kind of release in 2025. So you can consider this like your recommendation list, your what to watch list for this year. I mean, hopefully these will come out this year. All right, and the nominees are Devo, Group Therapy, Intercepted, The Luckiest Man in America, The Shrouds, Some Rain Must Fall. The award goes to The Shrouds. And with that, we're going to take it out west to Hollywood for Mr. Bill Hammon and his thoughts on the year 2024.
Thanks, guys. 2024 certainly had some impressive films, but overall, it probably wasn't the best year for the industry as a whole, coming off of 2 labor strikes, a glut of sequels, and the studio still trying to insert AI into the proceedings. That said, there were still a lot of great moments, and here are some of my favorites. A couple of years ago here on the show, we gave out an award for the best performance by a child actor. We're not doing that again this year, but if we were, I'd have to give it to Alicia Weir for her absolutely madcap turn in Abigail. The film is really well made and full of camp horror comedy, and a lot of it is down to her as this young vampire who, as she puts it, likes to play with her food. She gives it absolutely everything she's got, and it shows. The movie just wouldn't be half as much fun without her in it. A Real Pain was one of the best films of last year, due in large part to Kieran Culkin's powerhouse performance. But writer-director Jesse Eisenberg reserved the best moment for himself. At a group dinner, after Cousin Benji's shenanigans have alternately delighted and infuriated the tour group, they all praised David for putting up with him. Eisenberg, as David, then takes the opportunity to release his own pent-up frustrations with his loved one, summed up in what is, by a country mile, the best line of dialogue of the year. Quote, "My pain is unexceptional, so I don't feel the need to burden everyone with it." With that single sentence, delivered in an almost tossed-off fashion, Eisenberg put simply and succinctly the way that so many people feel and how much trouble they have processing and coping with their own issues. In a year that saw a lot of down moments the world over, that was pure catharsis. Finally, there's something to be said for the communal experience of going to the movies. And despite the issues with the Hollywood system, there were definitely some high points in that area. So many people were excited for Wicked that some theaters had to remind them not to sing along with the film, lest it negatively impact those who were unfamiliar with the musical. Despicable Me 4. The filmmakers put the minions in these little suits, which may sound like nothing special, but it was a gift and an acknowledgement of the fans who created the viral Gentle Minions meme 2 years earlier. Director Kevin Smith toured the country with his latest film, The 4:30 Movie, encouraging devotees and newbies alike to come out and take it in as a collective unit. Hell, we even got to engage in a bit of United Schadenfreude as dunking on the plethora of amazingly bad films filled the national movie discourse. From Borderlands to Madam Web to Megalopolis to Argyle to Pool Man, there was no shortage of weirdly off projects, and there was something oddly therapeutic about laughing at how absurd some of these pictures were, to the point where you could argue that there's more intrigue in the Razzie Worst Picture race than the Oscars Best Picture race. But the big moment for me came while watching A Complete Unknown on Christmas Day. The film was great, but you could feel something growing in the packed auditorium as it went on. By the end, as the credits rolled, something incredible happened. Everyone in the theater, ranging in age from 20 to 80 years old, started singing along to Like a Rolling Stone. There was no pressure to remain proper like with Wicked because the movie was over, and it was a testament to how enduring Bob Dylan's music is that multiple generations in that room knew it by heart. It was a spontaneous moment of pure joy. As I left with a smile on my face, I heard a woman telling her friends that they were free to go home, but that she'd be staying around for the next screening. It kind of broke my heart to tell her that we were in the last show of the day. That's all I've got, guys. Back to you in the studio.
All right, so last year, you presented the first ever No Rest for the Weekend award for Lifetime Achievement to the one and only Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage, my email is firstname@gmail.com.
And this year, we're going to present another life. And I remember when we did the after show, we were talking about, well, okay, we have to do this again. Who are we going to give it to? You know, and then tragically, in January early this year, the great David Lynch passed away. And I remember sending you guys a text message saying, what about Lifetime Achievement, David Lynch? And it was unanimous.
Yeah, hands down, everyone was on board.
He's an artist that has meant so much to so many, and his impact was huge. David Lynch has impacted me, and I'm a fan of David Lynch, even though I wasn't so much a fan of David Lynch movies, which I know sounds weird, but I loved listening to him talk about creativity, about movie making, about writing, about the process, and he just seemed like an amazing guy.
It's rare that someone in their lifetime can have their work, have the tone of their work be turned into an adjective. But there have been films and movements and art pieces that have been referred to as Lynchian in his lifetime, like the true definition of an auteur. I agree, a talent.
Bill calls him the man who gave us permission to be weird, and I can't think of a greater honor. He also had a great speaking voice and told great stories, my favorite being the one that he told about meeting George Lucas. George Lucas wanted him to direct he wanted him to direct the third Star Wars movie, and there's this whole, he took me out to lunch, and it's not that I don't like salad, but all they had was salad. And he's trying to tell me what a Wookiee is. And I've got a migraine headache now. It's so he's such a great storyteller. He's so funny. And he's not a guy that you think would be funny.
I love his work in front of the camera. Whenever he guests on anything, it's always a delight. If you haven't seen him animated, literally drawn and voicing his characters, it's just any time you can catch that, it's worth it. He's amazing.
Let's pour one out for David Lynch. Continuing with the awards, we got 4 more categories to go, and we're going to start with Best Animated Feature. Best Animated being one of Bill's favorite categories, and he could go on and on about the nominees, which is why he's not presenting it. We don't have that much time. Okay, so the nominees are Flow, Inside Out 2, The Imaginary, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, The Wild Robot. The winner is Memoir of a Snail. Adam Elliott, great guy. I know he's up for the Oscar. I hope he wins. He already got 1 Oscar for his animation. I love stop motion animation. It's like a special place in my heart for it, and that's why I voted for that movie. Yeah, great. If you have not seen it, definitely check it out. All right, and moving on.
Well, our next category is the best horror film of 2024. So I know you probably haven't seen any of the features in this category.
Okay.
That's not
in my own
thing.
defense, there is body horror in these movies. Some of them
Quite a bit,
and I cannot watch those. Also, I do not cast a vote unless there's a tie to be broken. So I let the will of the people speak, and then if there's a tie to be broken, that's where I step in.
How convenient, General, that you don't have to watch the horror films. The 6 nominees are Abigail, Heretic, I Saw the TV Glow, Longlegs, Nosferatu, and The Substance. The winner of the best horror film of 2024 is The Substance, which is the Best Picture nominee.
Yes, these are all going to be... So just to recap, all of these that we're reading, all the winners, they're going to be the nominees for Best Picture. We'll explain it again later. We'll catch you up. In past years, we've done Best Horror / Sci-Fi as one category, but there were so many pictures this year that were good that we decided to make it 2. So this year, we've got the Best Sci-Fi nominees: Alien Romulus, Arcadian, Dune Part 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Things Will Be Different. The winner is Dune Part 2. And I have to say, of the movies that are there, that is the most movie. I know you love Things Will Be Different.
I do. I love Things Will Be Different. If you haven't seen it, it's a film by Michael Felker, and it is amazing. What I will say about this category is we've got 4 sequels. 4 continuations.
Yeah, well,
but,
you can only play the ball where it's laid, man. That's that's what we got this year with sequels.
And if you haven't seen Arcadian, that's got my boy Nicolas Cage.
Who goes full? He does not go full Cage.
He does not go full Cage. He's actually very reined in. But the creatures in that movie,
I remember you said they were nightmare fuel.
Nightmare fuel. So the other high-profile genre is musicals and comedies. We did keep this category together.
Yes,
musicals and comedies. So it can either be musical or funny, not both. Here are the 6 nominees: Better Man, Kinds of Kindness, A Real Pain, Saturday Night, Thelma, and Wicked Part 1.
Okay, can I just say, this was a very tough category, and one of the films was very popular. You can say it defied gravity at the box office.
You could say that. I wish you wouldn't.
I was green with envy when I was watching the picture. Anyway, I can't think of any more.
Well, I know you said you're not a betting man, but maybe you can guess the winner of this category if you were a wizard. And the winner of Best Musical or Comedy is a tie between A Real Pain and Wicked Part 1, which, I see the crossover.
Well, it was interesting because I loved A Real Pain. I was glad I got to see that. You loved A Real Pain. Bill loved it. And, because it's kind of a special movie. Wicked, I had seen the stage play. And the first act of the stage play is essentially this movie. But for some reason, this movie's like an hour longer than the first act of the stage play. It was one of those things where it was going to kind of come down to those two either way. And then we have a tie. One's a comedy, one's a musical. So it kind of fit. All right, so moving on. So that's it. Those are the 8 genre winners. But before we get to what we call our Best in Show prize, the Best Picture, we're going to take a look at some honorable mentions.
Kneecap. The Girl with the Needle. How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies. A Different Man. Griffin in Summer. And Late Night with the Devil.
All good films. I saw A Different Man at New Directors, New Films last January. It is different, but really good.
It was a Sundance feature, and it is now currently on...
It's on Max, I think?
Max, I want to say, yeah.
I have not seen How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies.
I haven't, but I could use the advice.
It sounds awesome. And, of course, Griffin in Summer interviewed the director and cast and reviewed the film for Tribeca last year. Tremendous picture. Hopefully it'll get a bigger audience kind of thing. But in addition to the honorable mentions, one of our writers, Mary Beth Thewison, who you have seen on the show, she thought we should add a category called Most Audacious Experiment. And these would be films like Megalopolis, Joker, Folie à Deux, Here, Amelia Perez, and Universal Language.
Big swings all around.
Big swings indeed, sir. That is what we can say about those films.
Submitted without commentary.
Big swings.
So, the moment you've all been waiting for. Fierce debates, intimate calculations, and philosophical discussions all occurred on the TVs behind us, while our cabal of critical fan friends narrowed down our winners so far to the Best in Show.
Yes. Now, note for this one, again, we're not including the Best in Fest award, as those movies haven't seen wide release in 2024, but hopefully you'll get to see them in 2025. Once again, our list of award winners and the nominees for Best Picture are
Honora,
Will and Harper,
Deadpool and Wolverine,
Memoir of a Snail,
The Substance,
Dune Part 2,
Wicked Part 1, see it,
and A Real Pain. The Substance, oddly enough, that's what I call my hair treatment.
Nice. I actually call mine A Real Pain. Now, I want to say, now that we've narrowed down this list of the Best in Show,
Yeah.
Dune Part 2 was a spectacle. It was amazing. There were visuals I'd never seen before. Don't need to watch it again.
Really? I thought it was better than Dune Part 1.
Oh, yeah, that's not up for debate. The film was amazing, and then when it was over, I was like, okay. I don't think I told anyone else to watch it, because if you're going to watch it, you're going to. No one had to be told to watch Dune Part 2.
Yeah, it's funny, like when you look at the list, and I kind of went back and forth and we kind of narrowed it down. We did like a ranked choice voting kind of thing, and I was trying to find the films that were on everyone's list, and I was thinking like what films affected me the most. But they're all good. They're all good. So should we give them the moment they've all been waiting for?
I mean, if you stuck it out this far, we may as well.
All right, and the winner for Best Picture of 2024, A Real Pain.
Written and directed by Jesse Eisenberg. This film is a laugh-out-loud dramedy that focuses on generational conflicts, generational trauma, and the bonds of family and legacy. There's very affecting scenes in the film, and the interplay between the lead performances from Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin are just wonderful. This was a Sundance picture. I did watch it last January, and I watched the Q&A afterwards, and some of the stories behind the film are fantastic. It deserves all the accolades it's getting. If you haven't seen the movie, this is a movie I'm telling you should see.
Yeah, it was the one movie that kind of made the consensus. Like, I liked all these other films, all the ones, like Honora was great. That, A Real Pain, like, they're all good. Like, these are all great films. This one just kind of like, I think, and I don't know if it's because of the way it affected us personally, or what kind of the effect we thought it would have on other people. One of the things I thought was very interesting, I heard that Jesse Eisenberg had not seen Kieran Culkin like in anything.
Yes.
And he just chose him.
Yes.
He just like met him and said, "This is the essence of the character is this guy," which is kind of not nice when you think about the character, like in a way, because he's kind of a screw up.
He's so heartfelt. He's so earnest. He's so
not remotely Jewish. Kieran Culkin.
He's a you see what you get kind of guy.
Yeah, but
and nominated for Best Actor.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he did a great job. He was also great in Succession.
Yeah,
where he won the Emmy. So, but that's it, man. That is all for the 3rd annual No Rest for the Weekend Awards. As always, thank you so much for taking this trip down the rabbit hole with us. A great big special thanks to everyone who voted this year in the awards, and a big thanks to our man in Hollywood, Bill Hammon, this guy right here, Eric McClanahan, and all of us at Behind the Rabbit Productions. I'm Jason Godbey.
I'm not Neil Patrick Harris.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
This is the BTRP Media Network.